On this week's podcast, I am talking with Muniqui and Lena Takahashi about from Healing Land Reiki. And we wanted to bring you to Japan and give you a little bit of an idea of the history and all of the wonderful things that Lena and Muniqui are doing in Japan. Welcome, you guys. Thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you, Pam.
Oh, it's my pleasure. Just before we get started, I just wanted to let you know that in the end of January here at Reiki from the Farm, we've got a full lineup of ICRT licensed online classes being taught in the Eastern time zone. And the level 1 and 2 masters, Karuna Reiki masters, also ICRT level 1 and 2 animal Reiki training and master training. So go ahead and join us if you'd like. In March, I will be teaching in the Australian time zone. So if there's anybody that wants to join us from there, please go ahead and check the schedule in the links in the podcast. I also have a link to my newsletter in the podcast that I'd invite you to sign up for if you want to get reminders about the podcast or see what is going on here at the farm. And also a link to my schedule if you would like to book a session with me. So go ahead and check that out. Lena and Muniqui, you've got some pretty great things coming up and some wonderful offerings. And certainly I know it's my intention to come and take a class from you in Japan and experience Kurama as soon as I'm able to make that work. Can you tell us a little bit about what people can experience from you guys, what you guys have?
Coming up, we do have our January classes, and we also have our January and February schedule. We have our Reiki 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. We have our Ucui Holy Fire 3 Ucui Holy Fire Reiki Masterclass and our Holy Fire 3 Karuna Reiki Masterclass. And then we also have our offering about the Mounkerama visual meditation and journey.
Mm-hmm. I love that.
Yes, a lot going on.
You have a lot going on. Well, let's tell the listeners a little bit about that. First of all, about your classes, because I believe you offer your classes at Kurama, at Mount Kurama, the birthplace of Reiki. Is that correct?
Yes. Okay.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so yes, we do offer classes in Japan in 2 locations. One location is where we based is northern Japan. So people can come to northern part of Japan and take classes, or they can come to the birthplace of Ucui Reiki, which is Mounkerama. So people can stay physically at Mounkerama during their training, and facility and food will be provided along with the training.
I am so excited for that, and I've heard the food is fantastic.
Very tasty.
Very tasty.
Very
so, and you mostly teach in English, although Lena, you also teach in Japanese, and
Mm-hmm.
and you also speak Russian. I don't know if you teach in Russian.
Yes. I mainly teach Japanese people and English-speaking people.
Yeah.
So far, I haven't had chance to teach in Russian because my focus is teaching Reiki to Japanese people in Japanese, yes, or whoever speaks English. So
in English.
Yeah, but if there's any request, sure, yeah.
You could always teach in Russian.
Russian and Ukrainian, yes.
And Ukrainian. And Muniqui, you also speak several languages. Do you teach mostly in English, though, I think?
Mostly in English, because like most of the requests come from English speakers, but I do speak Spanish. Yeah. I'm fluent in Spanish. It's been a little while since I've used it because after living in Japan for 20 years, but I do speak Spanish and I do love it. So, mi gente quien habla español, si quieren aprender Reiki, llámame.
Okay. You guys are so talented. I just,
A little Spanish thing.
I love it. And I want to say a few things about your offering of the Mount Kurama tour. I actually attended that tour with you because I just wanted to get to know Mount Kurama better. It is the birthplace of Reiki. I've seen photos of it, but your tour made me feel like I had been there. It made me feel like I knew it. And then you led us in a meditation afterwards, or in a couple of meditations. Look, I went so deep in those meditations. So I think I messaged you and said, okay, guys, you've got to make this available to everybody so that they can get a chance to visit Kurama. And I have it. We will put a link to that for anybody who's watching or listening today that would like to visit Kurama yourselves. How much is it you're offering your meditation and your tour of Kurama? How much are you charging for that?
Yes, the one Pam that you took part in was like live online tour. So basically the people had to join on the time, and we have people from all over the world in the different time zones. So a lot of people couldn't join because of the weird time they should be taking part in.
Right.
And providing recording was an option, but we decided to make it available so people can purchase it and get to that right away, and a little bit better quality than Zoom recording and things like that. So the visual tour is $37, and
Yeah.
you can purchase it and access it. So there will be kind of like PowerPoint presentation like tour where you will see pictures and maybe some videos. And also there will be 2 meditation. It's not just meditation, it's contains, so we're trying to connect people with the energy of the Mounkerama, and also receive its healing, and along with the healing they receive through Reiki. So the meditation guided first is by Muniqui, and then on another time you can do another meditation guided by me. So you have 2 different meditations there.
Tell you what, you did a great job of bringing in the healing energy of Kurama, because that was very powerful meditation. I really appreciated it, you guys, and I wanted to make sure that our listeners could access it. And that's very reasonable. My goodness, I had thought you would probably charge a bit more than that for it. So
Thank you for listening to it, Pam. It really means a lot to us. Thank you.
thank you, Muniqui. Well, guys, before we go too much further, I'm just going to invite everybody to join me in a brief invocation, so that as Lena and Muniqui make us familiar with the birthplace of Reiki and some of the history and some of the wonderful and interesting things that I've always wondered about, we can do that with our Reiki activated, and it can really become a part of us. So I'm going to invite everyone to bring your hands into Gasho and close your eyes. And just activate your Reiki energy, bringing in your symbols. And just acknowledging the birthplace of this beautiful, energetic modality of love. And just allowing the Reiki energy to flow through you, and acknowledging that today you will be connecting with the history, with Ucui Sensei, Dr. Hayashi and Mrs. Takata, who learned Reiki in Japan, who Ucui Sensei from his meditation on Mount Kurama, who became enlightened and then through the attunement process created a way to pass on the enlightenment to all of us. And for that, we are so grateful. We open our hearts and our minds and our bodies and our spirit to receive this beautiful connection to the origin that is offered here today. And we are so thankful to Reiki and to Lena and Muniqui for sharing this with us. Aho, namaste, and amen. Thank you guys. To start off, I just want to ask, what brought the two of you to Japan?
And I was studying in Mexico. I was studying in Mexico, and the opportunity just came up that I had an extra space, and most of my friends were taking Japanese just on the whim, and so it's why not? So I took Japanese class, and it was nice. It was cool, great. But when I came back to the US and I was finishing up my career, my university career in Spanish, just the idea of Japan started to grow, and I couldn't get away from it. It became, I'm not going to say obsessive, but everything Japanese became very passionate for me. And so the opportunity came up to study and teach English in Japan on the Japan Exchange and Teaching Program. And that brought me to Japan. And that was in 1998. And then I transitioned from that job to another one, and I'm still here. So that's what brought me to Japan.
Where are you from?
I'm from, pardon me. I'm from the USA. I'm from Phoenix, Arizona in the USA. That's where I'm originally, that's my birthplace.
Right.
Thank you.
And Lena.
Little things like that.
Well, you guys are great partners. So Lena, you were not coming from the US, you were coming from the Ukraine. And what brought you to Japan?
Yes, I was planning to go to UK, but things just didn't work, and almost, didn't have choice and had to go to Japan. But around that time, it was 2003. That was the time when I came to Japan. And at that time, there was not much internet access the way we have it available right now. And so I didn't have information about Japan at all. So I didn't know, I didn't know where I was going and what do I have to wear a kimono and every day. And it's like, what's happening over there in that part of the world? It's very far from us. So yeah, and just life brought me to Japan, and eventually I liked it here more than my own country, and I decided to stay here and not to go back to Ukraine. So now we're recording this is 2021, so it's been around 19 years I'm in Japan. Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's fantastic. So you guys have been there. You guys both obviously really enjoyed Japan and to have decided to stay. And you both learned Reiki while you were there. Can you tell us a little bit about the history of Reiki in Japan and just what that means to you?
The thing that some people know, some people don't, is that Reiki was a common practice in Japan before Mikao Usui received it. There were lots of people, they were called Reijutsukas, and this had healing abilities. And this was because while the government was trying to implement what we would call Western medicine, but it still was a slow process, slow going. And there were many traditional healers and healings. And so maybe in a rural area or in other big cities, going to see the Reijutsuka was a normal thing. And so when Mikao Ucui could have gone to, say, someone else's school and learned Reiki, but we all know that he didn't. He had traveled the world and was looking for Anshin Ritsume, the state of perfect peace at all times, regardless of circumstance. And he was also looking for Satori and his life purpose. And after 3 years of meditation, he couldn't find it. And his teacher told him, you got to be able to go to this, got to be willing to die for his purpose. And we all know what happened then. He decided to go to Mounkerama and he meditated for 21 days and he received the gift of Reiki. Now, there were other practitioners of other styles at that time. And so some people called their practices Reiki, other people called their practices with other names. And also some people associated their practices with religion, some did not. So this was the environment that was going on in 1920s Japan when Mikao Usui received the gift of Reiki and started on his life purpose at that time that has resulted in, as we know, Reiki spreading throughout the world through from Usui Sensei to Dr. Hayashi, Ms. Takata, and through now down to everybody and now down to us.
Yeah, I love that. And Mount Kurama has been known as a sacred mountain for a lot of different religious and spiritual traditions, hasn't it? It's got an incredible history. Can you guys tell us a little bit about the history of Kurama and a little bit about the mountain itself where Reiki was discovered?
I want to add some notes about like I said, about the history. When you go to Mounkerama, like the energy is there so high that you may be carried away. People actually suggest that you don't do any fasting when you go on Mounkerama, that you have your food there and you grounded and you go and climb and have your experience. So just the thought that Usui Sensei had very long fasting and he was on mountain, that says a lot of his development, like in his like energetic part, that just going along the 21-day fasting, a lot of people maybe can do that, but going on Mounkerama while you're fasting for 21 days is not something that everyone can do. So that's why people might think, why not? And anyone could go to Mounkerama, but maybe not everyone will have experience that Usui Sensei had. And to my kind of understanding, when I go to Mounkerama and reading about Mounkerama, that's my own like perception of the way Usui Sensei's energy and his personal like human part of his development must be very high to receive that experience.
Oh, definitely. And when you look back at some of the great spiritual masters, many of them did achieve enlightenment through fasting and time in nature. And so I think it's so interesting that is the history of Reiki. And you mentioned the mountain itself, that just the energies are so high there. What do you guys notice when you go there? You teach classes there. And certainly Holy Fire 3 came through when William Rand was teaching on Kurama. And there are certain places in the world that just, I don't know, they just vibrate with a frequency that makes you feel different after having been there. What do you notice about Kurama, and what can you tell us about just what it means to the Japanese people?
Thank you for your question. The first thing that a person like us wouldn't need to understand is when you're going from Kyoto to Mount Kurama itself, when Ucui Sensei did it, there was no train line. And so either they walked, or they were on a donkey or horse or carriage or something like that. And so that's important to keep in mind when you or me or anyone goes and takes the train to Mount Kurama, because you see the distance that they had to cover. That alone makes you think about what it was like and how to go there. Once you get physically off the train, you are actually on Mount Kurama. It's not like you get off the train and now you have to still go to. You're physically on the mountain, and if you turned around and left, you could say you've been there. But then when you start to go in, the energy of Mount Kurama is very subtle. It's not like you're going to experience this huge energetic download immediately. It's that as you're going, and it's not a very steep mountain. So as you're climbing it, it's just the sounds and the energy of it. It just comes over you in such a way that sometimes you almost have to go back to the city before you realize how high your vibration was lifted and elevated, because It's very gentle and very subtle. But it is a sacred mountain, and many people do go there to have just to hike. And there are many sacred places along the mountain. And we took you to some of them in the Mounkerama meditation.
Yes.
And there's various energetic spots where you can just sit and just meditate, and you can see the giant trees that have been there for so long that you can just feel the history and people, and you want to touch them, but some of the trees you can't touch, but the ones you can touch, you can just feel. It's so, again, not to repeat myself, but it's a subtle energy that elevates you, and it's in a gentle way that feels full of love.
Many guys said there's a few spots, a lot of spots where you can sit and meditate, but actually some of the spots has such a strong energy that you don't need to sit there and meditate. So a few seconds is enough to just be there, or just like passing through. So it's okay. You don't need to sit, otherwise you'll be carried away somewhere. So just a few seconds is enough. So.
And there is even like a tram that takes people up the mountain, isn't there? If they
saves time, that allows you to save time if you just want to just get to the top.
Yeah.
But to really experience the mountain, it's a good to walk it. And it's not difficult. You do want to plan for it, carry your fluids and everything, and to see the various energetic spots. So that's always a good day trip, a very good day trip.
Yeah, in what you offered, you took us up the mountain, Lena, and it was just beautiful. Tell me a little bit about your teaching and your lineage and how you tie all of this history in. when you teach, because you are teaching in the birthplace of Reiki.
Yes. In my experience with Japanese people, so we offer Ucui Holy Fire Reiki and also Holy Fire Karuna Reiki, and lineage. I know we don't say lineage, but the teaching of Holy Fire is new in Japan compared to the English-speaking world. So a lot of people, what is Holy Fire? What is it all about? But the interesting fact that I've noticed when Japanese people, when they already received Reiki and they want to come to Ucui Holy Fire Masterclass, or they want to come to Holy Fire Karuna Masterclass, what I've noticed is that they learned version of Reiki, which is Takata Sensei's version of Reiki, and a lot of parts that ICRT manual contain, which is Japanese Reiki techniques and accurate part of the history of Reiki itself, a lot of Japanese people are not aware.
Okay.
So, and when I'm starting to talk to them about, okay, let me know, I want to know what you know about Reiki, and all what they know is very brief history of Reiki. They only know 12 hand position. Maybe they will know Gasho. Maybe they will know Kenyoku, dry bathing, but that's the maximum they will know. The rest, out of 100% so far, in my experience, the people I've touched based who taught Reiki in Japan for over 20 years, they didn't know none of that. So maybe 5% maximum will have accurate information that who master symbol who added to Ucui Reiki, Japanese people really don't know. And it was like, wow. And Monica maybe can talk more about that it's a part of actually Japanese culture. Unless there is something being exported out of Japan, got popular outside of Japan and being brought back, they will not sometimes consider it. So
I think every place is the same. I think. And so when William Rand brought in Holy Fire, because there will be some people watching this who've studied Usui Reiki only, or traditional Usui Reiki, so they're probably not familiar with the Japanese Reiki techniques that we teach in the ICRT, like your students. And they may not also be familiar with Holy Fire. And I know when William brought Holy Fire, when it showed up in 2014, he made a decision like, I'm not going to take anything away from Usui Reiki because it's great. It's a great system of Reiki, but there's another energy that can be used alongside of the Usui Reiki, and it brings in new opportunities and new frequencies and new techniques. And so I really love that about the ICRT training and the Holy Fire, but I'm sure that your Japanese students wouldn't have been, Holy Fire is very likely new for them.
Yes, and the people who watching video right now, Pam, I see a little bit of the Reiki Healing Touch manual behind.
Oh yes. Yeah, I keep them close. All my tabs for teaching.
Yeah, so what is actually good is that ICRT made this available regardless you have Reiki training or not. And we have I'm official representative of ICRT Holy Fire lineage in Japan. So we have this manual available in Japanese. Japanese people actually like purchasing this book to, wow, I didn't know. So
the accurate history and the
so they purchasing it to catch up with information. And interesting thing that in the West, there is much more available information about history and a lot of Reiki research information more available compared to Japanese like book market. That's why Japanese people also don't have much information, I would say. So since Reiki been re-imported in 1984, so like they starting from that point.
right.
Yeah.
And then you also offer classes to English-speaking people who would like to come and experience Reiki in Japan. Muniqui, can you tell us a little bit about those classes? And because you actually take them to Kurama, do you not, for your classes?
We do that. Yes, we do that. Some of our classes we go to Mounkerama.
Yes.
And teach there. Other classes, we teach them and we give them information, accurate information. The thing about our classes is that we put in the historical perspective and then we give references for people to have more knowledge. We like our classes to be, here's the manual, but now here's the information that will help to support your class, help support. And so we teach about historical things and how they can find more information. And that gives a lot of support to our students.
Can I add one thing? Is that
Yeah.
2 locations in Japan available. Northern part of Japan, it's prefecture, think about the state, is Miyagi, and the city is Sendai. A lot of foreigners, they usually go to more like southern part of, maybe heard Osaka, like Tokyo, kind of Kyoto, but we're more like to the cold part of Japan. More easily available schedules are in the northern Japan, but for the Kyoto, because it's a mountains and depends on the rate, if it's rainy season or typhoon season, we don't set up our classes there.
Right.
Or if there is a snow. Not much available dates for Mounkerama class. It's more like a special class.
Sure.
If people want to come on their schedules, and so there's more availability in the other location from Kyoto. And also because right now we're a little bit uncertain with our travels.
Yes.
So if people go on our website, they can sign up below on the footnote, they can sign up for the newsletter. But also if they want to look up about Mounkerama class, there's a brief information along with our regular classes. The Kurama class has separate kind of category for it. And on top of the page, people actually can sign up for the waiting list. So once the Japan will be open and people can travel, and once we have our dates available, so people can get information, whether they come immediately or on their own time,
right.
but they will be aware about our offerings.
Yeah, that's an excellent idea, because yes, of course, travel's not really as accessible yet.
Yes, and what is very unique for Kurama class offering is that people actually physically stays in location. They don't go anywhere. So they wake up there, they go to sleep, it's all there.
Oh.
So they don't need to, so what it helps them to keep their energy, so they will have in this like energy bubble all the time until they finish the training and they go back to the city. So when people stays inside of the city and they travel to Kurama every day, that kind of breaks that energetic kind of flow. But so this is a time where people focus on their own inner experience and why they came here, where they want to go. So that then after the training or before the training, they can hang out for the more like other locations of the tourist places they can visit, more explore the Japan side. But this is the kind of good part, that they just stay there and focus on themselves.
I love
It's
that.
something unique that Healing Land Reiki does that others don't.
They don't have the ability to,
That's
necessarily
right.
do
That's
that.
right. That's right.
So yeah, we live in Japan, so people can have questions about Japan. Of course, we're not tour guides,
No.
but some like basic information we can provide, because for around 20 years we live here.
Yeah.
So
Well, there's a few spots that you mentioned, Lena, that people sometimes like to check out. They like to see the Ucui Memorial Stone. Where is that in relation to Kurama?
right. Yeah. So for example, think about you coming to Japan on Reiki tour, and there's two ways you can coordinate your trip. First, you can come to Tokyo, which is the capital, and then inside of the Tokyo, there's Usui Sensei's grave,
Yes.
where you can visit. There's actually, if you look in the internet, there is one website that has a beautifully put step-by-step guidance how to get there. But groups are not, I would say, not allowed. Let's say you have 20 people group, because unfortunately and this is very important part, because unfortunately a lot of foreigners misbehaved inside of the cemetery. Good people who will try to go now will be stopped from going there. So if you have a big group, I suggest you spread on few people and go on the separate time to go there. But right now, if you go, for example, early morning, and if you by yourself, you should be okay. But make sure that you just come there, no pictures, you just honor gassho, whatever you want to do there, but no any ceremonies, no any pictures, no any lives and things like that are not allowed there. And so you just going there for yourself.
Right. Right.
Maybe you can take a picture of the temple before the cemetery, but so pictures. So now you're in Tokyo, then now you take a train, speed train around like a couple hours. Then you go to Kyoto, Kyoto is an ancient capital of Japan. And from Kyoto, you need to travel a little bit. Think about, you need another hour to travel inside of Kyoto to go to Mounkerama. So then you either stay there, or you maybe want to, it depends. If you're by yourself, your own tour, then you maybe better stay in Kyoto City, and then you go to Mounkerama early morning and then you explore the mountain and see how you feel, if you want to come back another day, and because it's a lot. So then from Kyoto, think about, you need maybe another hour to go to another kind of bigger city. And from there, Muniqui.
And from there, so after that, then you take a bus for another hour.
So yeah, first you take a train, and to go to, we're going to Ucui
Sensei's hometown, Taniai village. It's a bus. It's a 1 hour bus to us from the train station. It's a small village. It's small, but if you have the pictures and that there is a traditional Japanese torii gate that he and his Ucui Sensei and his brothers donated to the temple, it's there. And that is where Ucui Sensei's memorial stone is. The shrine that is there in Taniai village was erected, and it has his name on it. And it's a nice place to visit because you can really absorb that small town feel. That's where Mikao Ucui was born.
Wow.
Oh, yeah. And the stone itself that was used for the memorial stone is actually from Mount Kurama.
Oh, really?
Oh, yes. So if you look up the pictures of the Ucui Sensei memorial stone in Taniai village, and when you see it, the actual stone that is the centerpiece is from Mount Kurama itself.
Beautiful.
Yes.
And there is even on Mount Kurama, there was a shrine to Ucui Sensei, and I'm aware that it was destroyed in the hurricane in 2018. Has it been rebuilt, you guys, or?
The shrine itself was not to Ucui Sensei. It was the temple that was at the location where he did the 21-day meditation.
Right.
But Mount Kurama is not a Reiki mountain.
No.
It is, as many of the people there do not know about Reiki. There's other traditions that are there. And so it's important for Reiki practitioners to remember that it's not a Reiki mountain. But it is important for us. So when you go there, do not expect the people to know about Reiki because they don't. But the actual location where Ucui Sensei did his 21-day meditation in 2018, there was a very big typhoon or hurricane. And so I'll let Lena talk about that.
Yes. Like a physical location itself, think about the Kurama station, then you climb up to the middle, you will see the Kurama temple, and from there you go more kind of deeper hike where you see more route path.
Yes.
So it's like station, half is Kurama temple, then there's kind of real top part of the mountain. That's where Ucui Sensei had his experience. So I think, Pam, you're talking for people who are watching videos.
Yes.
The place called Osugi Gongen, that's the place. It's not dedicated to Ucui Sensei at all. It's just at the location where he received his experience. And in 2018, so through the history, like Kurama being unfortunately gone through some like painful experiences with the typhoon that's really damaged it. And so me and Muniqui received Reiki training on Mount Kurama in 2017. And that was the first time when William, first time ever, I think, taught the class in Japan, Reiki class in Japan on Mount Kurama. So
Wow.
that was the time when me and Muniqui attended the class. And after we left, there was actually, like 1 month later, there was actually already big typhoon happening that already damaged a lot of Mounkerama. It's been like the part that I said from Kurama Temple to the place where Ucui Sensei had his experience, that part was closed for a few months. They were cleaning it up. Then when I went there in summer, I was like, what's happened here? Like, I see that a lot of trees are not there. And I talked to the local people, and that's what they told me. And then pretty much the 1 year after that, so 2018, that was a time when even bigger typhoon hit, to the point that whole Kurama was closed, like from the bottom to the top. And for, I think it took them 2 or 3 months to clean up at least somehow, so people could go to the middle part of the Kurama. But going to the top itself, that was not opened for 6 months or so. So yeah, and now it's settled down.
And Lena, you actually were a part of bringing one of our world peace grids to Kurama. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yes. Okay, where to start? It's a long story, but to make it short, to make it short. So when you go to Mounkerama, you probably heard us saying Kurama Temple. So when you stand in front, actually in our visual tour, we talk about that. And we also bring people in the meditation to that spot. So that is a place where you, in front of you is a Kurama temple, and there's some type of mandala there. And so people go there and kind of stand there a few seconds. So that is like one of the most spots on Mounkerama where is super powerful.
Yes.
And I think each person will have their own understanding what that exactly is, but it's a point between where it brings the heaven energies with the earth energy is the kind of spot between. And through the, I think that's what Reiki also wants us, is to bring all this heaven energies, all this high energies into our physical world and have our own life in the physical world. And when I took, and I just want people to understand that it's not that, okay, I took Peace Grid to Mounkerama. It's been
it's been an ongoing process.
It's been like 4 years of long process, yes. And physically, when William actually took it to brought it to Japan, we actually went with him to Ucui Sensei's grave in Tokyo, and then eventually I took it to Mounkerama. But the day before I took it to Mounkerama, I took it to the part of the mountain where that mandala is, and I placed it to the spot where heaven and earth energies are coming together. Once everything will be official, there you will be able to see a couple pictures. I don't have much, but because this is a spot where a lot of people lined up and you have to wait to get there, so cannot have much photo shoot there.
Yes.
but and I really felt like a big like blast of Reiki like came in, and then it shined out to the world.
Wow.
And then the next day I took it to Kurama temple and asked if they would consider to have it there. So, yeah.
Beautiful.
Mhm.
Thank you, guys.
Long story short.
Yeah, I put you on the spot for that one. Sorry. Well, guys, I think you have a meditation because so many of us aren't able to travel to you right now. You wanted to bring the mountain to us and give us an opportunity to experience Mount Kurama and Ucui's, the birthplace of Reiki. Was there anything you wanted to let people know before we move into the meditation today? Did we cover everything?
We covered a lot. Wait.
If I can mention is that our offering, can we mention here?
Absolutely, yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
So a part of our intention to deliver as much as we can Reiki related, Japan related, to the people outside of Japan. So there is, you can see it on our website. So this is Kurama soap.
Wow.
So what is special about the soap is that when you go to another side of the, like when from the top, when you go down, you will see, so there's another part of Kurama. It has a different name. It's a different village there. They have a temple that has a very special water, and they get there for this soap. One of the ingredients of the soap is they get temple water drawn on the full moon. So this is basically Kurama water.
Yes.
One of the ingredients of the soap, and a couple other natural ingredients are here. I love it for, especially for the facial soap. You can use it, of course, for body. And in order to deliver it to you more in a Japanese way, we have been designing various packages. So now it's a gift season, and it's all time is always gift season. So it's right now it comes in a different packages.
Oh, cute.
So for people who can have video, or if it's podcast listeners, you can go to YouTube and you will find us on our social media. So it comes in a
They're beautiful. They're so beautiful.
This is a very Japanese way of putting it. So it's not just the soap, it's also packaged and brought to you in a Japanese way to bring you a piece of Japan, a part of Japan.
They're so sweet.
Yeah, and you can also get our shirts. They also available. They also come in the kind of this type of
Japanese packaging.
Isn't that sweet? Oh my gosh, you guys, I love
and
it.
of course, you can get our Kurama tour, visual tour. Also, you can get it on the.
And I highly recommend that. It just, I don't know, it just feels like it connects you with the history and with the origins. And I really love your Kurama tour. And thank you so much for putting it on. I appreciate it.
And of course, our classes, sessions, you can find it on our website.
Of course. Yeah. And we will have links to all of that in the description. Guys, who is going to lead us? Are you both leading us in a meditation today?
I will be leading the meditation today.
Okay, Muniqui.
Okay.
All right. If anybody who is listening is driving, I'm just going to invite you to pull over to the side of the road and hit pause. These, trust me, these can go deep, especially this meditation with the Kurama energy.
This is the mini Mount Kurama meditation. At this time, please bring your hands together in front of you in Gasho and breathe. If you have Reiki, please activate your Reiki symbols. And if you don't have Reiki, then just allow the energy to flow across you and over you as we take this journey together. The divine light of Reiki is now surrounding you. It's flowing in on the breath, and it's flowing in and waking up the beauty and wonder that is you. The power of divine love, the divine mind, divine heart are all flowing in on your breath, and you're finding the divine areas of yourself waking up. This is a divine gift that is with us at all times. And it brings us in greater harmony and touch with who we truly are, our true nature. And breathe. Feel Mother Earth shining her brightness up into you, and feel the divine Father Sky shining his light into you. And the divine animal kingdom have come. And they're wishing us well on our journey to Mounkerama, the birthplace of Ucui Reiki. In front of us, each of us, a bridge of light has formed. And it stretches all the way from wherever you are to the country of Japan. And the bridge is showing that it's not just an ordinary bridge, but it's a bridge of light, and it has railroad tracks on it. For this is no ordinary bridge. This bridge will take us in our spirit to Mount Kurama. Place your hands comfortably on your body and allow the Reiki energy to flow. As you enter the train, you ask, what is the fare? What is the price for taking this journey? And they say that it has already been paid for you. The price is divine love, and you are loved. So this journey is for you. And you smile and take your seat on the train with everyone who was joining us. And we depart and go, and we see the bridge changing colors. And it's a magical train, and it's going over the ocean. And you look out and you see the ocean. And it takes us directly to Mount Kurama. we depart the train together and we go to the entrance and we find a nice young Japanese lady there who says that she's been waiting for us. And that here at Mounkerama also your fares have been paid by the divine love, the divine mind, the divine heart, and as a gift from the great treasure houses, the great treasure house of light, of love. As you walk through the gates, you see a statue of Kuan Yin and you take some water from the statue and wash your hands and rinse your mouth, a ceremonial act of purification. And as we walk up the stairs and you look around and see the trees and the flowers and the leaves, and you find that as you're walking up the steps, you're leaving little small particles behind. And as you rise up the mountain, you're finding that you're getting lighter and lighter. As that which no longer serves you is just falling away with each step that you climb up. We stop and turn to the right, and we go into the train, the Mounkerama trolley that will take us up the mountain. It's not a train that we expected to be here, but it's to spare us and to take us higher. And as we go on the train and we go up, you see the trees and the landscape, and you hear the beautiful sounds, and they're all welcoming us. And we depart the train, and we step out and we feel refreshed and excited to be here. And as we continue to ascend higher and higher to reach the temple near the top of Mount Kurama, we see that our path is lined by angels, divine ones, brothers and sisters in the light, the divine animal kingdom. And they are all shining their beautiful light upon us and showering their blessings upon us. And as the blessings go in, you find yourself feeling lighter. And the blessings we are receiving are truly just greater indications of the light that is already within us. Sometimes we forget this light. But today it's shining forth beautifully as the blessings of our traveling companions is being honored by the divine beings who have come to stand on the sides and shower us. And as we reach the top of near the top of Mount Kurama, before us, we see, to our right, we see the Kurama temple, and to our left, we see the power stone, and we see the great courtyard. And one by one, people are going to stand in the mandala that is at the center that represents the spot of unification of heaven and earth, the place where heaven and earth meet. And you go and you stand there and you feel the divine light shining down upon you, filling you with joy and peace. And you feel the divine light of Mother Earth shining upwards. And they're all meeting within your body, and you feel the energy of Reiki flowing through you. And so you join your hands together in Gasho and you bow your head and say thank you to Mount Kurama for being here. And you give thanks and gratitude that you're able to experience standing at the spot where heaven and earth meet. And the gratitude flows forth. And it illuminates everyone and everything around you. And you look around and you say in your heart that you're looking forward to coming here in person when possible, but that you'll take this experience with you. As now we prepare to go back down the mountain, the divine ones that are flanking us on all sides are saying they look forward to the time when we all can come to Mount Kurama in person, but that this has just been a small bit of a glimpse, a little look. And there's much more for us all. Gifts of love. So we depart and enter the train. Once again, that'll take us back down the mountain. And we go down and we step out. And we walk back along the staircase, the stair-lined street. And we come to the entrance of Mount Kurama. And there's an excitement in us that we've been able to come here in our spirit, with guided by Reiki. And you look back at the entrance of Mount Kurama and you say, I'll see you soon. And you proceed to return back to the train that brought you, and you sit. And we're going back across the bridge of light, going from Mount Kurama, Japan, back to your place where you are physically, no matter where you are in the world. And as the train travels back, you see suddenly the lights are changing from red to yellow to orange to yellow to green to blue to purple and to white light. And we find ourselves back at our home. And we depart the train. And we enter into our bodies. And we take a deep breath. Having received a gift from Mounkerama, the birthplace of Reiki, a gift of love and light. And as we settle in, we say thank you to all the ascended masters and our Reiki teachers and our teachers who have gone before us. We say thank you to Mikao Ucui, Shujiro Hayashi, Mr. Takata, and all of the Reiki practitioners who've made it possible for us to know Reiki today. And when you are ready, open your eyes, come back to your body. Thank you.